From Jakks Pacific and their 5-inch Sonic the Hedgehog line, this is the Heavy Gunner, one of the hard-boiled heavies from Sonic Mania. Specifically, the one that I remember most from the opening, animated part of the game, in which he is sent by the Heavy King and totally destroyed. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's probably the second most iconic out of the hard-boiled heavies, right after Heavy King. At the same time, there's a couple of the other heavies I probably would have liked before this guy. Even still, he looks cool enough. He's in the blue card. Here on the back, you can see he has 13 points of articulation, just like the Heavy King. And his description is, the more destructive member of the hard-boiled heavies that demands you respect its authority. Okay, respect its authority. Why not? It's Cartman. And just so we're clear, I can say authority. It's just, respect my authority has been ruined by South Park, let's just be honest. And also in this wave, you have Supersonic, got him. Shadow, have an older version of him. Still looking for old Mephiles, but when I find him, we'll do a review. At the end of the day, this is a decent looking figure. Let's actually open him up, because if you remember, I really adored the Heavy King. I'm hoping this guy is going to be just as good. You know, I'm really glad Sonic the Hedgehog decided to tackle the problem of police brutality. I feel like they really have the acumen to discuss such pressing matters. I'm not gonna lie, this is a deceptively engaging little figure. I was not expecting much out of him despite the fact that he shares a body with the Heavy King, but just looking at him, he is filled with great points of articulation. You're able to get him into quite a few different poses, and whereas I thought the launcher was going to be so bulky as to weigh him down, he holds it incredibly well. It doesn't throw off his balance all that much, mostly because he has a great center of gravity, as well as the fact that these backpack in the back is able to help balance him out. Taking the gun out of his hand, oh wow, he has a death grip on it. Okay, there we go. He stands perfectly fine. Well, again, these big shoes are probably helping as well. Looking at his articulation, he has a swivel at the head, he has a universal at the shoulder, he has a universal at the elbow, swivel at the wrist, universal at the hips. Doop, doop. He has a good knee, goes forward and back, and then he has a swivel at his feet. Those are really great points of articulation. It's one of those things where numerically he may not have that much, but every point he has gives you almost complete mobility in any direction. It is a very smartly designed articulation system, just like his boss, the Heavy King. Looking at his accessory here, he does have his big cannon. I like the kind of seafoam green on the end of it. It looks like there should be a missile here, just because that looks like it should be pushed down. But no, it's all one hunk of plastic. I don't know if I would have wanted a missile. Missile could have been fun, I guess, but it does still look really good in hand. It fits well, it works well. I can't complain too much. Now I just want to see how he looks alongside some of his contemporaries. Here he is alongside some of his classic style Robotnik contemporaries, that being the Heavy King, the classic Egg Robo, and Mecha Sonic. With these three, he looks spectacular. This is such a unit. I love this. I want to track down a classic 5-inch Eggman to really kind of finish off this group. But as just a squadron of bad guys, this is perfect. I like this so much. And in all honesty, seeing them together, I love that the Heavy Gunner is blue. It really draws your eye to him. Whereas the Heavy King was one of my favorite figures to come out of this line when I opened him up, I think the Heavy Gunner is outdoing him on every level. Not only do the joints feel just a little bit better, they're unencumbered by the cape or the shoulder pads, and he's just a little bit more eye-catching. Here he is alongside some 2-inch classic figures, and this is perfect. For me, when it comes to the Jakks classic style figures, I think the bad guys should be the 5-inch, and then you should really focus on 2-inch for the good guys. I know they've done 5-inch classic Sonic, classic Knuckles, classic Ray, they all look good, don't get me wrong, but this scaling is just to die for. I love this. This is probably how I'm going to try to display them on the shelf. Pulling in our 5-inch classic Ray, and again, I just point out, I don't think this works as well. The 5-inch classic figures look great, they really do. They just don't mesh as well scale-wise. The modern figures look good in the 5-inch, because they're supposed to be so much taller than the classic. The 5-inch just doesn't look too good for the classic good guys. Having these two together really does make me want more of the hard-boiled heavies, but I think I can go on and say it, at least right now, the Heavy Gunner I like more than Heavy King. I think he looks a little bit better, he's a little bit more unique on the shelf, and there's just something about his figure that feels better than the Heavy King. With all that said, I give this guy a glowing recommend. These two are some of the best figures to ever come out of the Jakks Sonic line, and they're pretty unique in their own right. If you just want a cool, bulky robot bad guy, or just a cool, bulky robot period, these are both excellent options.